Hi, I'm Graham Blackburn, and in this episode of Traditional Woodworking by Hand, I'm going to show you how to make one of the simplest ways of joining two pieces of wood together, the tongue and groove joint. Hi. Over the years, there have been lots of ways of making the basic tongue and groove joint. I have here a whole selection of different planes that have been invented and used for making this particular joint. Here is one of the first kinds. This plane has a metal fence and it's designed to cut the groove. Unlike most wooden molding planes that are held at an angle, one of the things that distinguishes these planes is that they were often sold in pairs, so they were called match planes. One plane made the groove and another plane made the tongue. So watch what happens here. I put the plane on the wood, I make sure that the fence is close to the wood, and I just plane. And as you can see, it slowly makes the groove. Now I would do that until the plane was riding on the depth stop. So it's completely automatic. I don't have to measure anything. As long as I hold the plane upright, it will make the perfect groove. Then, on a matching piece of wood, or the other piece of wood that I wanted to join to it, I would use what was called the match plane, and this plane you can see is a slightly different shape, and what this does is to cut the tongue. The process is exactly the same. I hold the plane against the wood vertically so that the fence is tight against the wood, and I take two passes, and as you can see, it slowly makes a tongue that will fit if I continue until the plane no longer works, because it also has an integral depth stop. It will make the tongue will then fit in the groove. An improvement over the match planes was a double-ended plane. This plane will do both jobs, but you use it the same way. Whichever way you want to go first, cutting the groove or cutting the tongue, you simply have to hold it vertically so that the fence is tight to the wood, right? You can do that on one side, then you can do this on the other side, once you set the irons nicely. One of the problems with joining wood together with tongue and groove joints is that because wood will always do what wood wants to do, it may shrink. A common thing is, after you've made the tongue and groove joint, is to use a beading plane to make a bead on one side of the wood. And what that does is to disguise the fact that if the joint opens up, you now have a nice bead. You can see over here on my saw cabinet that this panel has been tongue and grooved into the frame. But in order to disguise the fact that sometimes this may shrink, I've used the beading plane to cut a bead here, and the quirk of the bead makes the shrinkage less apparent. So it's very common to use tongue and groove planes and then bead one side of it. These come in a lot of varieties. You can see over here there are some that are designed for really big, thick pieces of wood. This was probably designed for a piece of wood that was at least an inch, if not an inch and a half or 2 inches wide. Here are a pair of match planes. This one cuts the tongue and this one cuts the groove. But these planes, also designed for heavy work, are also equipped with a fence. So by loosening these screws here, you can move the fence in and out, and you can determine exactly where you want the tongue and groove to be in the width of the wood. If you don't want to bother with the wooden planes, probably the most convenient hand tools are the Stanley tongue and groove planes. They come in two sizes, one for 3/4 of an inch thick wood and one for smaller wood. The number 49 is the commonest one. Let me show you how you use this. We're going to use this plane to make a tongue and groove joint to join these two pieces of wood together. Now, as I've mentioned before, it's always good practice when you've decided how wood is going to be joined that you mark the wood. I like the triangle system. This tells me that this is the face, and these two pieces go together like this. As I've said before, look how many, if you didn't do that, look how many ways you could get that wrong. 1, 2, 3. It really pays to mark the wood, and then always work from the face side. So this is the face side, and we're going to make the first part of the joint using the Stanley 49, and the first thing that we'll do is to make the tongue. So as before, the plane goes on the wood, working from the face side with the fence close to the wood, and we simply plane until the shaving stops. That looks good. You can see the tongue is even on the whole length of the wood. Now we take the matching piece and placing this in the vise so that I will be planing from the face side. I'm going to pull the pin on the fence, and that allows the fence to turn around so that now when I use the plane, it will cut the matching part of the joint. Same procedure. Hold the plane upright, make sure that it's close to the edge of the wood, and start to plane. And continue to plane until you no longer take a shaving. Then you will know that the groove is properly deep all the way across. Now, making sure we have the triangles matched, the joint should go together, and bingo. As I've said before, the test of a properly cut joint is when you don't need any extra force to join the two parts, but neither will the parts come separate. So here is your basic tongue and groove joint made with the Stanley number 49. I hope you like that. If you want to see more of these tips, don't forget to press the subscribe button, and we'll keep showing you more about joinery, and we'll keep showing you eventually how someone actually makes some projects.